Hey guys, it's Mr. Wigand. Today we're going to look at multiplying and dividing positive and negative fractions. Alright, when multiplying positive negative fractions, you have to remember two things. First, you have to remember the integer rules, and second, you have to remember how to multiply fractions. So we're going to start off with our integer rules. Remember back we had our tic-tac-toe table that helped us to remember our multiplying and dividing integer rules. We put P down the diagonal for positive. We filled in everywhere else with N for negative. And then we had a handy way of remembering that a positive times a negative is a negative times a positive is a negative times negative is positive. It also works vertically and diagonally as well. Okay? If you just remember that the signs are the same, your answer is going to be positive, and the signs are different, your answer is going to be negative. But we have two negatives here, so a negative times a negative. We know that's going to be a positive. So I'm going to make a little note up here that my answer is going to be positive. And I'm going to come down here and rewrite these two fractions. And I'm not going to worry about the negative signs, because I already know that my answer is going to be positive. So now I'm just going to do my multiplication, and then I'll just make sure that my answer is positive at the end. All right, one way you can do this is simply multiply across. 4 times 15 is 60. 9 times 16 is 144. But then I get these big numerator and denominator numbers, and I have to simplify this. If you don't know right away what 60 and 144 are divisible by, it makes this problem very challenging to simplify. I happen to know that they're both divisible by 12. 60 divided by 12 is 5. 144 divided by 12 is 12. Our answer should be positive, so positive 5/12. Alright, now that gets tricky, because if you didn't know it was divisible by 12, it could have taken you a few steps. So let me show you another way. Alright, this is called cross-canceling. I look to see if there's factors in common with the numbers across from each other, or vertically, and I noticed that 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 16 4 times. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 goes into 15 5 times. Now I multiply those numbers across. 1 times 5 is 5. 3 times 4 is 12. And I get the same answer, 5/12. But look, my numbers are a lot smaller than I'm dealing with. Makes the problem a lot easier that way. Alright, now we're going to look at multiplying mixed fractions. Alright, once again, first thing I think about is my integer rules. Negative times a positive, I know that my answer is going to be negative. Alright, when I'm multiplying fractions, I have to first change them to improper fractions. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16, so I get 16/5. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 25, I get 25/8. Not going to worry about putting the negative sign in here, because I know that I've already taken care of that, because I know my answer is going to be negative. I'm going to cross cancel, because I can already see 16 times 25 is going to get to be a really big number. I notice that 5 goes into 5 once, and 5 goes into 25 5 times. 8 goes into 8 once, 8 goes into 16 twice. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 1 is 1. 10 over 1 is 10. Negative though, negative 10 is my final answer. Alright, so that's multiplying positive and negative fractions. Now we have dividing positive and negative fractions. Same thing before. We want to start off with our integer rules. We have a negative and a positive, so we know right away it's going to be negative. Alright, dividing. We use same, change, change. Something we used when we subtracted integers, if you remember correctly. It's a different version of same, change, change. Or some people call it keep, change, flip. Okay, what that means is I keep the first fraction the same. I change division to multiplication. And then I change this fraction by writing its reciprocal, or flipping it. And I put 35 over 6 instead of 6 over 35. Now I've made a multiplication problem, and I just do what I did for multiplying. I'm going to look to see if I can cross cancel. Oh, here we go. 7 goes into 7 once, into 35 5 times. 2 goes into 4 twice, and into 6 3 times. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 3 is 3. I never want to leave my answer an improper fraction. So 3 goes into 10 3 times with 1 left over, 3 1/3. And our answer was negative. So negative 3 1/3. Alright, next one. We have mixed fractions. Integer rules first. Negative times a negative. We know the answer is going to be positive. Have to change these into improper fractions, just like when I multiplied. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1, 25. 25 fourths. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 5 halves. Alright, then remember, same, change, change. Or keep, change, flip. First fraction stays the same. Change the multiplication. Flip the second fraction. Look to see if I can cancel. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 4 twice. 5 goes into 5 once. 5 goes into 25 5 times. These smaller numbers to work with. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, that's improper. 2 goes into 5 twice with 1 left over. 2 1/2. And we said positive, so positive 2 1/2. Yep, pretty easy, huh? Alright, here's 2 for you to try. So at this point, I want you to pause the video, try these 2 problems, and turn it back on, and I will go through each problem for you. Alright, let's take a look now. We have negative times a negative, so I know my answer is going to be positive. Write myself a little note over here. Alright, now we have to change our mixed fractions to improper fractions when we're multiplying. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 1, 31 over 6. 4 1/2, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9 over 2. I don't have to worry about the negative signs here because I took care of that when I figured out my answer was positive. I look to see if I can do any canceling, and I can. 3 goes into 6 twice. 3 goes into 9 3 times. Looks like all I can cancel. So I multiply across. 31 times 3, 93. 2 times 2 is 4. This is obviously improper. I need to change this into a mixed fraction. Let's see, 4 goes into 93, 2, 133, with 1 left over, 23 1/4, and it was a positive, so positive 23 1/4. Right now, division, I have a negative and a positive, so I know that my answer is going to be negative. I must change these to improper fractions. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14/3. This is still a division problem. 8 1/6. 8 times 6 is 48, plus 1 is 49. 6. I do same, change, change, or keep, change, flip. So the first fraction stays. Changing division to multiplication. Flipping, or writing the reciprocal of the second fraction. Now it's multiplication. Can I cancel? Well, yes. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 6 twice. Well, look here. 7 goes into 14 twice. 7 goes into 49 7 times. 2 times 2. 4 for the numerator. 1 times 7. 7 for the denominator. Our answer is negative, so I'm going to rewrite that over here. Negative 4/7. Oops, not the 7. Circle that, and that's our answer. So there you go. Multiplying and dividing fractions with positive and negatives. We must follow 2 sets of rules, integer rules and also our fraction rules. Good luck, guys.